I have got some ghost stories for you.
I feel something crawl into the bed with me and it starts to spoon me.
There was a time where I would be in bed falling asleep and I would hear my name being called. Different voices call my name.
Poof, the person disappeared right in front of our eyes.
And we were both like, did you see that?
There was this figure of a woman. Her skin was bluish and her hands were clawed and her mouth was wide open.
So that is my ghost story.
Hi, and welcome to Haunted AF, the podcast of real ghost stories told by real people. We are your hosts. I'm Julie Fisk.
And I'm Rebecca Black.
So coming up, we've got another freaky VRBO story.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Is it VRBO or Verbo?
I think it's either way.
Either way? Okay. We got more haunted houses, of course, and some audio from the Shawshank Redemption prison that freaked us out.
Yeah, it did.
That was like literally having to share it back and forth, trying to figure it out yesterday.
But first, we have to thank our new patrons, Stephanie B., Chi View, Katie Ellison, and Richard Batchelor, who has a Bigfoot story to share hopefully soon. Fingers crossed.
Yes.
Don't forget, you can find all of that exclusive early content at patreon.com/hauntedaf because patrons, they get the pregame and the full episode one whole day early with absolutely no ads.
Yeah.
Not that we have any ads anyway.
We do occasionally.
Occasionally.
Hopefully.
It's always a surprise when they come up.
Yeah. If you have ads you would like us to run,
yes,
please. We would
let
love
us
to.
know.
Wanted to share this Facebook comment that we got from Dottie. I just re-listened to all of your podcasts and made it to the one where you warned everyone about the other Haunted AF Facebook page. So I went and looked, and sure enough, I have been on the wrong freaking page for years. God damn it. Okay, so here's the thing. Remember this. Our Facebook page has our picture on it and our logo. The other one just uses like a black and white typeface. And they also used to keep it private. I don't know if it still is, but I think they do that just so to keep us out.
I think so, probably.
Because I used to go over there and be like, hey, take this down.
Yeah.
Like we're haunted.
We
AF.
own this.
So make sure that they're like dropping episode information because, that's us for sure.
Sometimes
I'm sorry.
I try to tag Haunted AF and the other one pops up. And I'm
Are
like,
you
no,
serious?
bitches, get off of here.
See, they must have me blocked because I've
Oh.
tried to do that a couple of times and I'll think, oh, they must be gone because I can't find them anymore. Those sons of bitches. I can't believe that.
I'm going to infiltrate now.
All right, get ready. Here's our Verbo story.
Hi, Julie and Rebecca. I'm including a few pictures with this story. This would have been from late April of 2022, and my mother and I have taken to try to visit national parks, and this one in Arkansas was an easy drive for us, about 12 hours from Wisconsin. So we planned a trip down there, and I rented a like an Airbnb, VRBO type rental. That was an older home that was built into the hills of Hot Springs. We drove down there and took up residence in this VRBO for about 4 or 5 days. And I didn't really get any creepy vibes out of it, but it is an old place. It had a master suite that I just insisted my mother take, of course. There was really no other bedroom to sleep in, but there was a futon and a nice big living room. I opted to take the futon. So on the last night we were there, I knew that it was going to probably be a short night and we were going to get up early in the morning to start heading back. So I wake up around 4:30 or so in the morning, and I tend to take off my socks in the middle of the night. So I grab the socks that were at the bottom of the bed. And as I'm bending over, out of the corner of my eye, I see one of my socks underneath a couch, like catty corner to the futon, which is quite far away. It was probably a good 15 feet at least, but it was very odd that my sock was underneath this couch. Like I never took my socks off in that area. There's no reason my sock would have been under there, but I didn't think anything of it. I just thought, good thing I caught that. So I go and grab the sock from the floor. And as I'm handling my socks, I realize that I feel something inside my sock. And as I pull this item out of my sock, I realize it's like a gypsum or like a selenite crystal. It's maybe about, 4 or 5 inches long. And it was just absolutely mind-boggling what I was looking at. Like there is no way on this earth. First of all, I didn't even know that stone or crystal was in the home. And it got into my sock that was underneath the couch across the living room. It just floored me. I actually called out to my mom, who was also cleaning up her sleeping area and packing up. And I yelled to her, "You got to see this." She looked at me like I had 3 heads. Nobody else had stayed there while we were there. Nobody else was in the residence while we were there. I have no idea what that was about. I did not take the stone with me because I didn't know if the VRBO owned it, so I left it there. It's no longer a rental, so I don't know if one can stay there again, but I did drive by it and it looked like somebody was like in the kitchen window washing dishes or something. I did email or message the owner of the VRBO at the time, and I didn't really want to flat out say, "Is your place haunted?" But I did say something along the lines of, like a gypsum or a selenite crystal somehow made it into my bag when I was there, and I left it there because I figured it belonged there. Just wondering if that sounds familiar to you. And the owner came back and said, "No, that doesn't sound familiar, but people, leave and take things all the time because it's a rental." So that's my mystery crystal story. Thanks. Great show. Appreciate it.
Okay, so that's from Tracy. What do you think is going on here?
That's a good question. I've never heard of a actual physical something appearing inside of a sock or any of your stuff before.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what to call that.
Goblins.
Obviously. Little gremlins are coming in at night and moving around things.
Goblins, yes. My first thought was rats. Because rats will take, they'll take things, or squirrels even.
You remember Pizza Rat? It took a whole slice of pizza in New York and drug it around the city.
Right. But they like, they use soft stuff for their nests.
Yeah.
But I can't explain the crystal.
No, I can't either.
And doesn't that sound like weird mountain voodoo kind of stuff?
Maybe.
Like hiding a crystal in somebody's clothes under a bed or something?
Possibly. I do think it's interesting, though, that the Verbo is no longer a Verbo. You don't think that's a little weird that it's no longer a rental house?
No.
Okay. I mean, I need to know a time frame, I guess, to decide whether or not that's weird.
Well, and if you found out that your rental was haunted, like, would you really take it off the market? Is that enough? Because you're making money off
That's
of
true.
it.
I mean, I think if it's you and I and it's our rental property, we're going to own the fact that it's haunted and really sell the crap out of it.
Yeah,
but I do think some people are like, "Oh no, I don't want any of that, any part of that."
Right.
And would sell it immediately.
Yeah. I would love to hear theories on this because I think this is the first time we've had something like that.
Yeah. And the crystal part is very specific.
Mm-hmm.
There's a certain type of person that is a crystal person, right?
And I don't know. I mean, do they use crystals in witchcraft?
I think so.
It feels like
I
maybe.
do. I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, right.
I used to be really into crystals when I was in high school, but
like using them and their powers. Oh my God, you're hilarious.
I said it was for that, but mainly just because they were pretty.
They were pretty, of course.
Yeah. I even worked at a crystal shop.
You are so funny.
Yeah.
You are Stevie Nicks. Because I have no doubt she's a crystal person.
I feel certain. Yeah.
Crystals and broom skirts. So here we go. This story comes from Gavin.
Boy, we were rambling there.
Yeah,
lady.
we were. Hello from Gavin. Hi, Julie and Rebecca. I wanted to send in my story after listening to your podcast for about a year now. Growing up in a little place called Rio, Illinois, I lived in a very large 2-story house. It was well over 100 years old and still had the old servant stairwell that went from the kitchen to the upstairs. Ooh,
that's cool.
Yeah. My bedroom was at the top of the stairs and it had a giant walk-in closet about 10 feet long and 5 feet wide.
So jealous.
Me too. God, that sounds amazing.
It really does.
My bed was right next to this closet, and every night I would wake up around 3 a.m. and hear what sounded like nails scratching along the wall inside the closet. It sounded like it started on the ceiling and then came down the wall. And when it got to the door, I would hear a thump. Then the doorknob would start rattling. Yeah. Jesus. I'm like, I got to stop for a second. That is some spooky shit.
Yeah.
Soon after, there would be a creak as the old door opened, and I would see 4 sets of glowing red eyes looking at me, one on top of the other. Nothing ever attacked me from those eyes, but they looked at me for years, starting when I was 6 and ending when I was about 10. So for 4 freaking years, this guy put up with the 4 eyes staring at him.
No,
that's
I would be
wild.
Traumatized.
Same. I can't. How did you sleep? So that started my love for the paranormal. Wow. Good for you, buddy.
That started my years of anxiety.
Yes, right. And now I do investigations with my 17-year-old daughter. Love the podcast. Please keep it up. Gavin from the Booby Gone Paranormal Research.
Boo be gone. That could also be like a breast reduction
Totally.
surface.
Oh my God, that's a great.
That was
That's
actually
great.
that was a really, really good story.
It was awesome.
But like the one on top of each other.
Yeah, that's really creepy. And I'm like, I don't think cats don't have red eyes last time I checked, so it couldn't be some cats creeping around in there.
They could sometimes the glowing eyes.
Sure.
And yes, my cat has gotten stuck in the closet before, and they will do that where they're like,
I was actually there one time when your cat was stuck in the closet.
Yeah.
We're like, what is that noise?
And you sound haunted
Yeah,
when it happens.
for
so,
sure.
and of course, my first thought was rats again, because they'll get in the walls and like
Very true.
and do the scratching, but they would not be able to open the door.
No, there would be no jiggling of the handle.
Ooh, thank you for that, Gavin. So we have been asking you guys to let us know anytime you find a good spooky show or book or whatever. So Tracy sent this. I watched this series on Prime called My Ghost Story, and it included stories from the Driscoll Hotel.
Yeah, which we know all about.
Yes, I remembered you guys were just talking about the Driscoll and the suicidal bride who went on a shopping spree. Check out the series because that story is in episode 1, and they have a really cool photo and some video footage.
Ooh, okay.
Love you guys. That is from Tracy. And actually, the suicide bride story happened in the 1990s. So it's not an old-timey story. I remember the first time we told that story, we were both like, that's got to be 1890s because the Driscoll is so freaking old. But that's not the case. So yeah, we need to watch that.
All right. We also got this one from Richard, who just became a patron. So thank you very much, Richard. Hi, ladies. I've enjoyed your podcast since I found it about a year ago. Here's a very good movie for you. Night Shift, 2023. It's 135 minutes long. Do I really need to say that?
Sure. Why not? Thank you. Thank you for that, Richard.
That time. That means it's not too long.
Yeah.
It's got everything: jump scares, creepy scares, comedy, plot twists, and a great ending. Hope you enjoy.
So that's Night Shift, and it's about a girl who works a night shift at a hotel, and then she realizes that the hotel is haunted.
It sounds familiar, but I couldn't tell you who's in it or anything like that.
I didn't recognize any of the stars in it, but this is why it sounds familiar, because Night Shift was also a movie with Henry Winkler that came out in 1982, I think.
Okay.
And it was one of Ron Howard's first directing movies, not his first one, but early on.
Yeah.
And it was Michael Keaton's very first film. I know. Thank you. Same.
He was my first crush. Him and Batman. I was like, oh my God, this is the hottest man on earth.
And he's still hot.
He's still hot.
Yeah.
Absolutely, he is.
100% to this day.
Agreed. He's 70s now.
Good for him. Yeah, because it's working. Look up Night Shift. You actually can find. You have to rent it though. But I mean, like you can find it on Prime and stuff. But it's about this. Henry Winkler works in a morgue, and he and Michael Keaton realized that they could also use it as a brothel, so people start coming in. Yeah.
That is so gross.
I think it's Shelley Long is like the, prostitute with a heart of gold.
Amazing.
Yeah. But I did the same thing whenever I was like, Night Shift, that sounds really familiar. And then I'm like, that was like the movie with the Fonz, I think. So recently, Rebecca and I made an appearance on Mike Reiner's Patreon show or his podcast.
Yeah, we did. It was so fun.
It was super fun. It's called Your Dark Companion. And we might actually do something with him for Halloween. So we don't have the details on that. We'll keep you guys posted. However, one of his producers, Becca, did have this story.
So I grew up in Terrell, and the very first Sears kit house brought in on the train to Terrell. Yes, it was beautiful, built in like 1903, and we had a ghost under our stairs. The ghost under our stairs was not super mean, but he did not like it if we were in the crawl space under the stairs. Which we used kind of as storage, but it was also where my brother and I, because we were 5 and 6 when we moved there, we came from Oklahoma where we had an actual basement, but we didn't have a basement anymore. So we were immediately taught that's where you go for tornadoes. Mm-hmm. And he didn't like it. How would he let you know? He would say, leave my house.
Oh, he would actually say you in
yes, because he would it was a man's voice who would say, leave my house if you crawled into the crawl space.
What did that sound like?
Leave my house.
Very conversational.
Yes, it was just very matter of fact about the whole thing. No.
She and her brother were the only people who encountered this.
Right.
But her brother would also have dreams that his room was on fire.
Which is so freaking creepy.
Yeah. And like he would be screaming in his sleep, and then their mom would go in to check on him. And she said that the room would feel actually hot. which is like turn on the AC. This kid is clearly burning up.
Right. So this next story comes from Casey. When I was a freshman in college 20 years ago at the University of Montebello, my dorm roommate didn't show up. So I had the room to myself for a few days.
Nice.
How nice. I remember waking up one of those nights, which was odd because I worked at a pizza place and the campus bookstore in addition to my classes. So when I slept, it was deep.
Yeah, I bet.
I woke up because my blinds were being raised. I had them shut to shut out the light from outside. I wasn't scared, just like, oh, that's odd, and watched them raise for a bit, then went back to sleep. When I woke up the next morning, they were still up. I lived in the Hanson dorm and found out later it's haunted by the Lady of Hanson, who is a friendly ghost. By the way, Casey sent her story and a few others from Montebello, which is apparently the 8th most haunted university in the U.S. Some great stories too, by the way, like Reynolds Hall, which was used as a hospital for the Confederate soldiers during the Civil War.
Oh, wow.
Captain Henry Reynolds, who the hall would later be named after, oversaw the hospital. He had to leave his post at the hospital one night, and when he returned, it had been overrun and all of the wounded soldiers had been killed.
Oh, that's horrible.
God, that's so bad. So maintenance staffers claim that his portrait gets moved all the time, though no one has ever touched it. Also, in 1908, a student named Condi Cunningham allegedly died after her nightgown caught fire.
Ooh.
That's terrifying. They claim that an image of her face kept appearing in the wooden doors for years, even after they were replaced. Staff claims that you'll sometimes hear the sounds of someone running and screaming down the halls. Good Lord.
Those are amazing.
That's awful.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear the screams of a woman on fire.
These just really feel like university ghost stories.
Totally.
Though. There's always somebody
Totally.
whose nightgown catches on fire.
Right.
And I do feel like the portrait getting moved around, that feels like a thing. We also got this one from Stephanie. Hey, ladies, I have a ghost story. But first, the woman in white in South Carolina, I can kind of see the horse.
Thank you.
But did you notice the cross on the side of the road?
No.
I did not notice that. Is it possible that it's the spirit of the person who passed there? We need to go back and watch that because we still haven't gotten answers.
No.
And I know we've got listeners in South Carolina. So I just, please, somebody drive down that road and let us know if there's like a mailbox or something out there. On to the ghost story. I went to the Ohio State Reformatory in June as a birthday gift from my sister.
Fun.
We did the overnight tour, and let me tell you, so many stairs. Also, since Shawshank Redemption was filmed there, they have character cutouts, and Morgan Freeman scared me a couple of times, which he was so sweet in the movie.
I know.
Yeah. Anyhow, we were in the basement, and I caught an EVP. To me, it sounds like someone saying, I'm here, or I heard. All in all, it was fun, but we had major car issues when we left, and I didn't know if we were going to make it back home. Was it ghost related? Who knows? And that is from Stephanie. So this is the audio that Rebecca and I were playing around with yesterday that was tripping us out. So listen carefully. I've got it turned up a little bit so you can hear his voice more. So here's the wild thing. Here, let's play it one more time.
Okay.
So what do you think that sounds like?
I feel like first of all, I think it sounds like an English accent and it's somebody going, tiger, tiger, round, tiger. It does. That's what I'm hearing.
Hang on. Oh my God.
Now that you hear it.
Tiger. What? I mean, what is he saying? Okay, so
what do you hear?
It doesn't sound like a word to me, but
it doesn't.
It's just,
you
it's
definitely
like,
hear it though. It's something.
It's yes, and it sounds like a voice. It's so strange, but the really wild thing about it, the first time I listened to it, I wrote her back and I'm like, "Are you sure it's nobody in your group whispering?"
Right.
She's like, "No, that wasn't it." But when we record it, the wave file, there's always this little wave that goes through. You guys know what it looks like, the audio files. It does not register.
Right.
And that was crazy to me.
I agree.
So
you literally emailed it to me and I was like, let me put it into my audio software and see what's up.
So, and you had the same experience.
Same experience. I even like normalized the volumes and lifted everything up and tried to like even it out and it still didn't raise at all in that one section.
Yeah. Meaning it does not register as a sound or a human voice
right.
or anything.
Yep.
which is crazy because you see like the ups and downs there at the end from her turning off the recording.
Yeah.
So you were eventually able to get it to register. What did you do to make that happen?
I denoised it, which takes out all that staticky in the background, like that room noise.
Right.
But even then, the registering of it is so small in comparison. Like it's still so small. It's weird.
I don't even know what to do with that.
Right.
So these voices, and we've had them on and off over the years.
Yeah. It's been a while since we've had an EVP though.
Yeah, it has. And especially one, we've never had it like this where it just didn't register at all.
And it's also so very clear. Like it is a distinct something talking.
Yeah. But it's almost the thing that always stands out to me is that the voice doesn't sound wholly there. It always feels like it's like in between or something. And not to sound stupid, but like that's always what it sounds like to me. So listen one more time. Tiger. I can't unhear it.
All right, guys, let us know what you think about Stephanie's EVP. What the frick is it saying?
Tiger.
Tiger. We'll share the pics she sent, but it is really hard to see anything in those. We'll put it all in the companion blog at hauntedaf.com. And while you're there, please look over all of our merch. We've got some really great Listener to Dine sweatshirts from last year, and they're super cute and they're very affordable. Julie is wearing hers today.
I'm wearing Hey Boo.
Yeah.
And it's so cute that when I went to Whole Foods to get our coffee, the girls making our coffee were like, oh my God, that's so cute. I love it. Also, one last message from Nicole. Hey, Jules and Bex.
Jules and Bex.
I listened to you guys on speaker, so my hubby gets to listen right along with me.
Yay.
Get this. He thinks he might be haunted now.
No way.
Yeah. She says, ha ha ha. Hoping,
evil laugh. I love it.
Yeah. Hoping y'all are having a wonderful weekend, ladies. And by the way, we have not gotten any like Haunted AF is haunting me stories in a while. So
No,
if
we
you've
haven't.
got one of those, let us know and send all of your other spooky stories to hauntedafpodcast@gmail.com so we can use it next week on Haunted AF.